Hello guys and welcome back to another Fan Factory Friday, and today we're checking out a Colossus of a save by Perforated Soldier. Now this save has been developed over a total of 917 hours and still has multiple areas being constructed. But within this save are some great elements to check out, which of course you can check out by downloading the save yourself over at satisfactorytips.com. I'll put a link below. Now the save itself contains a multitude of buildings, including the stadium, which you may recognize from one of Coffee Stain's live streams, or possibly a couple of them, as well as a massive power plant with a really cool power bank setup or power storage setup, as well in some cases art, as well as a little bit of cheese. Truth be told, there are numerous Easter eggs in this save which you should try and search out. There's even a ski ramp for your factory cart, which should you wish, you can give it a spin yourself as well. Just be careful not to fall to your death because it is over the void. Now the ski top is the peak of the Fixmas factory. I've no idea why, but the Fixmas skins in this factory are struggling to be used. Actually, I'll take that back. Looking back at the recording now, I actually know it's due to the experimental belt rendering. So if you have that ticked on or ticked off, that could be what causes that. Now this particular factory is against the main factory in the void. In this part of the factory, there are large production lines. And as always, I love what Perforated's done here with these underfed manufacturing lines. But I would definitely love to see some of the gaps filled up. It's quite easy to do and just cleans it up at the end. But certainly building like this makes it very easy to do a job quickly. Now another really cool section of this factory is actually the pure Caterium refinery lines underneath this. I love how compact this is, and I haven't seen anything done like this before in any of our Fan Factory builds prior. You also find plenty more refineries working on pure ingots in this factory, some with the same setup and some with a more basic loading approach that you'll quite often see me use because it just is much quicker to set up, even if it doesn't look as cool. Now beneath the factory, we also have the Logistic Lines. Now these all feed the factory. When it comes to importing and exporting the resources, I also love what he's done with the drone port designs. So the first one is built into the floor, whereas the second set of drone ports is actually used as a gradual stepping up system, which is then covered as well, with each section of the drone port being housed and underneath it having the loading hangars, which look pretty sweet. Leaving this area, let's check out the railway lines that Perforated uses. I love the monorail style, and it's very similar to one that we actually saw in a Fan Factory relatively recently. And the great thing about this style is that it makes it very easy to scale up by just adding an extra line above the ones above the ones that are below. This system connects the whole world together, one which is powered by one of two massive power plants, the first one of which is located in the West Coast oil fields. Now this is separated into two parts itself. The first is a coal power plant that uses compacted coal, which is fed by water from below. Now I love the feel of this generator plant, but I would love to see it fully closed off. Behind this setup, we then have the second generator plant, which uses blenders to produce the diluted fuel, which, as with the previous generators, are also fed from below. But my favorite part of this generator setup is the battery bank located to the east of this. I love just how it's all wrapped around with walkways, and I love the use of the doorways as frames. Alongside these plants, we also have a small factory which is dedicated to producing compacted coal for obviously the coal generator plant that is attached. And then we have the sulfur and the coal, which is actually brought in by the train line, which we will now take over to the stadium. Now I am most definitely a bit of a sucker for some storytelling, and I love the stadium. It looks great with not only a space for the spectators, but it also has stands that are nicely constructed using the Mark I conveyors. The stadium also includes a baseball pitch, at least I think it's a baseball pitch, and the factory cart running the pitch is an awesome addition, along with the players and the scoreboard. There are also a variety of rooms inside the stadium which you can check out. including the VIP booths, places to grab a bite to eat if you want it, and also the sports commentator area, which is in gold, which I just think that's a perfect little addition to finish this off. Next thing that we'll be going over is heading over to the Blue Lagoon area, where we have another plant producing plastic. Perforated makes use of the recycled plastic and rubber recipes here, and all of this is being exported up and across further northeast to the nuclear plant. Now, the nuclear power plant section is slightly different, and at first it may look a little bit messy. Just hold on and breathe, and we're going to go slowly through it. So this nuclear power plant is covered in factories which are actually wrapped around the cliffs, which is incredibly difficult to do. You'll see up close that some of these sections, as I mentioned, can look a little bit messy, with all the different grids being like brought together in some kind of, I don't want to say spaghetti because it's not spaghetti, but it's just mounded together. But I love the idea and the feel of this, almost like it's its own colony that's sprouted out around the cliffs. And it's something that I've actually really wanted to do with a factory wrapping around the void where his main factory is. But I mean, you never know, we might get round to that slightly later. If we pull slightly further away, of course, this actual look is pretty fantastic. It really does look like its own little dystopian colony. I love it. I love it. You'll find throughout this save a series of little Easter eggs. I've mentioned this earlier on. One of which is actually the structure around the Mercer here, mounted inside the small building on top of the cliff. I also love the little drone bay featured on top of this circular build. Speaking of drones though, there's also next door to this another platform full of drones as well, and this particular platform is what brings all the uranium from the waterfalls over to this particular factory. All in all, this is a fantastic build with some great ideas, and I love that Perforated doesn't just play it safe. He has some fantastic ideas, and I love that he also treats us to some decorative builds along with some Easter eggs and storytelling, something that I want to see more of in these fan factories because it just adds that little bit of spice to the mix. And whilst we're on the notes of the Easter eggs, I haven't shown them all off. I want to make sure that there are some more left for you guys to check out. So do remember, you can get a hold of this save yourself over on satisfactorytips.com, but I will leave you with this little Easter egg in the lagoon by the coal nodes. If you grab and power the power plants using the little container at the front, you can actually get a bit of a light show going on. Anyway, guys, we are going to leave it there. That's all we have time for in this video. But if you did enjoy it, please do drop a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. But anyway, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much to our amazing supporters, most notably our Solar Eclipse patrons, The Calamity and Cerebral Tag, as well as our Lunar Eclipse patrons, Dixie Chris and James Irwin, as well as our Blood Moon of the day, which today is Shlom. Anyway, guys, until next time, as always, ciao for now.